Hello, my name is Kelani. I am the P7 tutor at Phoenix Financial Training, and this video is for the P7 exam tips for June 2018. So, I'm going to start with the structure of the exam. So, as you know, there are two sections in the exam. Section A is mandatory with two questions. Question 1 is 35 marks and is going to be about the planning stage of the audit. Now, in general, you can be asked for business risks, audit risks, procedures, and other areas that are in the planning stage of the audit, such as matters to consider if it's a new client, how to use analytical procedures, and other examples. Now, audit risks are tested every single time in the exam. However, business risks are not tested all the time. However, make sure that you are aware of the differences between business risks and audit risks so you do not make any mistakes during the exam. In question 1, you also have 4 professional marks where you are looked at in terms of the structure of your answer, the titles, the headings, and language, the flow of your answer. So make sure that you are aware of how to write briefing notes and make sure that you structure your answer in a clear and professional manner. Now, question number 2 is 25 marks and it is mandatory. Now, what question 2 is, in general, it's common to be an ethics and quality control question. However, that can change. So the examiner may bring other parts of the syllabus as question number 2. However, it's very common that it comes to be an ethics question. So in the ethics questions, just make sure that you are aware of all the areas of ethical, quality control, and professional issues. So it's not only about your threats and fundamental principles, but also about things like confidentiality, conflicts of interest, money laundering, and other areas. Now, looking at section B of the question. Section B has 3 questions, and you have to choose 2 out of the 3 questions. Each one is 20 marks each. Now, question 5 is always about audit reports, where either you're asked to criticize a report or to write the implications on the report. Question 3 and 4, one would be on matters and evidence, basically your completion stage of the audit, and you're reviewing a file to see what are the risks and what are the expected evidence you find. So you need to have very high knowledge of the accounting standards to be able to successfully answer that question. And question 4 would be your other assurance services. So, for example, forensic audit, due diligence, PFI, any of the other assurance services where you give limited assurance or no assurance at all. So as I said, the questions may change in position, so you may have the other assurance services in question number 2, a mandatory question, and your ethic questions in your section B. So what I'm trying to say, guys, do not skip any part of the syllabus. Be aware of all the areas that are going to be tested. Now, when you are studying, guys, just make sure to keep a few things in mind. Number 1, your accounting standards are very, very, very important. So without having adequate knowledge of your accounting standards, you wouldn't be able to discuss a point in depth. Second point is, during the exam, please read the requirement very, very carefully. So in a lot of cases, in a lot of scripts that I have seen, and this has been said in the examiner's report as well, is that students write what they think the question is, not what the actual requirement is. So read the question and identify the verb that has been asked. So identify or discuss. So discussion has to have a depth discussion about the points, and in some cases the requirement has more than one requirement. For example, if they're asking for risks of material misstatements and utilize analytical procedures to identify those risks, in this case, you are required to have analytical procedures in your answer. So read the requirement very well and have an answer plan. So look at the marks that are available in the question and make sure that you have an answer plan saying, okay, so let's say 16 marks, so I'm expected to write 6 to 8 points, for example. of audit risks, or if I have 10 marks, I'm going to write 10 valid points. I need to have 10 medium paragraphs to be able to get all of those 10 marks. For example, if you have things like procedures, like evidences, if it's 5 marks, I need to write 5 procedures. Do not write less than that, you wouldn't get it. And do not exceed the amount of points, because every single question has a maxed marks for each valid point. So just be careful with the planning of the question. And make sure that you practice as much questions as you can before you enter the exam. Make sure that you do the pilot paper. Make sure that you do some past exam papers in addition to any past exam questions of kits that you have. Make sure that you practice under time management to make sure that you finish the exam. P7 is a very lengthy paper, and you need to be able to practice how to answer. So it's not enough just to look at the answer and say, okay, I understand the topic. You need to actually write the answer, and then you can check it for appropriateness. So this is it for the P7 exam tips. Good luck in your exam. Wish you luck.